Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. This is Black History Month, and it's also Valentine's Day. So there is nothing more appropriate than a romance written by a Black author with a little bit of fantasy romance. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Witches and demons and a whole lot more. And plus, this is a book talk book.
Yep.
So get ready. Buckle up. If you would like to see this in video format, head on over to Patreon. You can see our lovely faces and no ad breaks. Plus, there's a lot of other content there for you to watch. If you are listening to this on the Spreaker app, you too have access to the after show and other exclusive content audio only. If you prefer video, head on over to Patreon because that's the only place you can see video. You can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Clubs app for even more book chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is featured co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, a special Valentine's Day.
Yay! Yes.
Yeah, I don't think, when was the last time we posted on Valentine's Day? I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And we are appropriate today, so I'm ready.
I'm ready too. We got this.
Tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay. And of course, before we begin, just want to remind you that as always with book chats, we talk full spoilers here. So spoiler alert, you have been warned. Today we are discussing That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, written by Kimberly Lemming, published by Orbit. The audiobook is narrated by Hazel Addison. The Kindle version is 278 pages, and the audiobook is 7 hours and 25 minutes. Casey, would you please read the synopsis?
Spice trader Cinnamon's quiet life is turned upside down when she ends up on a quest with the fiery demon in this irreverently quirky rom-com fantasy that is sweet, steamy, and funny as hell, perfect for fans of Legends and Lattes and The Dragon's Bride. All she wanted to do was live her life in peace, maybe get a cat, expand the family spice farm. Really, anything that didn't involve going on an adventure where an orc might rip her face off. But they say the goddess has a favorite, and if so, Sin is clearly not one of them. After saving the demon Fallon in a wine-drunk stupor, all Fallon wants to do is kill an evil witch enslaving his people. And who can blame him? But he's dragging Cinnamon along for the ride. On the bright side, at least he keeps burning off his shirt.
Yes, that is the bright side, I guess. I didn't even read the synopsis. That's why I'm laughing. I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, I get it. Okay, as we do, high level, when you finished this book, what did you think?
I thought it was adorable, and I want to read the next one.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm like, that's cute. Like, it's fun.
It's quirky and fun and similar but different at the same time.
Yeah. And I actually thought it was just enough spice for me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't too outrageous. It wasn't too so it was just it was balanced for me.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I will read the next one, but obviously I waited because there's no way I wanted to confuse anything.
Yes.
And I think the next one has to do with characters we've already been introduced to.
I think so. I think Felix the werewolf is the werewolf in the next one, because that title says it's hold on. The next title is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. So I'm pretty sure that's Felix.
Yeah, I mean, Felix is funny. I'm like, they all just want Cinnamon. They like, wait, you rescued us. And
let's be best friends. They're like, yeah.
I couldn't, like, the scene. She's like still in the bed, and Felix is like, hello, morning.
Good morning. You're naked. But let's go.
We got stuff to do. Come on. She's like, what is happening? He's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay. So this is one step better than we were this time last month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, even though I finished this book a week ago, again,
Mhm.
I don't feel like I found a bunch of things
You
to hate
didn't
on.
you didn't hate it as it's saturated?
No, I didn't. I actually I still like it. I still
Oh,
like it. So I'm
good.
like, this is a
Yay!
win.
Yay!
Yeah. So Book Talk actually presented something fun that I
Mhm.
liked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Casey, before we jump in even more, did you tell us already why you picked this book?
I think I did in the after show in January, but I don't remember. I
Okay.
know it was short. It was Valentine's Day. We want diversity in our book talk. I saw it on book talk once and was like, hey, let's go for it.
Yeah, I watched a couple of TikTok videos and I love the way these characters look. Like
Mhm.
honestly, Cinnamon has brown skin with pink hair, which she
Yes.
complains about. She complains about this pink hair. So she's super cute.
Mhm.
And her dress that has infinite pockets and
Pockets
things,
that carries just like bottles of mead and a dozen apples at a time.
all kind of spices, all kind of things in there.
Oh
Like, girl.
yeah.
And of course, what's his face? What's his name again?
Fallon, the dragon.
Fallon. He definitely looks like, how you would think a dragon looks. And I
Mhm.
did not tell, like, okay, so when I looked at the photo,
Uh-huh.
I thought that was his hair braided at the top. I didn't think it was horns.
Horns.
Until the book, he's like grab my horns. I'm like, what the fuck? Horns? Oh, those are horns.
They're horns.
Yeah, so he's got like this long, luscious black hair. He's
Mhm.
got like, a body on him. He can be singing that body out. And
Mhm.
he's got a little Asian flair to him.
Oh yeah.
Yes, which
Yes.
I also enjoy. Like he's not pretty
The
nice.
diversity in all of these characters was wonderful.
Yeah,
I loved it so
refreshing.
much. It was so refreshing.
Yeah.
Everybody was different skin tone, but it didn't mean anything.
Mhm.
Like, yes, Cinnamon and her family are space spice, not space, spice traders. And I
Mhm.
love that ongoing joke of like, here's how you spice your food.
You spice your food. And they
But
all have
like,
spice names like cinnamon and
mhm.
cardamom or whatever. I can't
One of the
remember.
brothers was chili, and the
Chili,
other, I think,
yes.
was cumin.
Yes, cumin, that's it. I'm
And then
like,
her
cumin?
sister was named Cherry, and I was like,
Ah,
"Cherry's a
that's not a
stretch.
spice.
That's not a
Yeah,
spice, that's a fruit."
that's that doesn't really fit. Wasn't she the youngest of
She
them?
was the youngest,
So
yeah.
maybe they got tired of the spices. So they needed another C name, and that's what they got, Cherry, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was cute though. I'm like, okay, I'm digging the characters, the new characters, because this felt like the theme was we have to take down this witch that's holding people as slaves, basically.
Mhm.
And the demons aren't as bad as you think. And your savior goddess is the bad one. So it's
Mhm.
very true to that theme. But it was also it had these Wizard of Oz vibes. And what I
Oh,
mean by
definitely.
that is we're off to see the wizard. And we're gonna like as we go, we're gonna meet people
Mhm.
and add to our team, and we're gonna just keep defeating. We'll have like each little thing to do as we go along.
Yeah.
So it kind of had that vibe to it, which
Mhm.
I did not mind. I thought it was kind of cute.
Oh, yeah. It was really cute. It was very questy. Yeah, they were
Hmm.
going on a quest, and each time they gained more friends and more people to follow them, and yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And also, I think actually, it's like the simplicity of it
Mhm.
is also what made it enjoyable. Like, the story wasn't complicated.
Mhm.
The goal was clear, the themes were clear. But I think what made it special were the characters and how they interacted with each other.
Mhm.
Even Even Fallon, oh my god, gets so enraged at anybody who like looks at Cinnamon sideways. He
Mhm.
like, I will kill them all. She like, calm down. You don't have to do that. He like, "Rah, I'll take everybody. I'm like, woo, okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
alpha man. But you know, he makes the friends. They all make the friends, and
Mhm.
it's like
But he
one
also
big happy
listens to
family.
her. When she tells her no, he stops killing people.
Yeah. Like like the quintessential, I guess, thug rapists that come along the road, and
Yeah.
he's like she just got finished telling him not to kill people, but he kills one of them or both of them. No,
He
one of
kills
them,
one
and then
accidentally and
she
throws the
kills
other into
one.
the river. Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, shit.
And he's like, "I'm sorry, I killed someone." And she's like, "That's okay." He's like,
You
"We
can
were
kill
just
all rapists. Yeah, kill them all."
you can kill the rapist. That's okay. I'm not mad." I'm like, "Oh Lord."
It was cute. It was really
Yeah.
cute.
It was cute. So there was a lot of things I liked about it and not much I didn't like. So that was really nice.
Yay!
Yeah, you had a good pick.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So should we try to break this down a little bit?
I mean, honestly, I did enjoy it as it was, but part of me wishes there was another 100 pages just giving more to the story, more
Mhm.
detail about the world, more development of the world and the characters. Because it is a little insta love, even though they're together for a few weeks before she, finally hops on his dick, as she says.
Mhm.
I wish there was more. But, like, as a short story, it works.
Yeah, I think it works, and I think if we had gotten a little bit more, it would have been nice. And also, there were trigger warnings
Mhm,
for this,
mhm.
which was important because even though it does seem lighthearted on the surface, there were a couple things, and I kind of knew that the consent thing was in there.
Yes.
There was one scene when they get together, and it seems like it's a little gray at
Mhm.
first, but then she gets on board pretty quickly and you can see, okay, well, she's into this. But
Yes.
like very at the beginning, she's kind of like saying, meh, nah. And he's like, you know you want this. Why do you think you don't want this? Stop acting like you don't. I'm like, oh no.
It's only hot when fictional men do that. When men in real
Yeah.
life do that, I just no. It
Yeah.
doesn't work. Fictional
Yeah.
men, yes. When they're dragons, yes. It works.
I
If you're not a
mean,
dragon, don't do it.
yeah, definitely. So I was like, I did like take note, but I again, it warned me.
Mhm.
Okay, it's there. So I kind of was like, okay, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
So when I came across it, I wasn't like, oh my god, oh, because I
And that's what
expected.
trigger warnings are for. And
Yeah.
honestly, I almost think that the content wasn't as triggering as I thought it was going to be. When I
Mm-hmm.
read that trigger warning, I was like, "Oh no, dubcon can be pretty bad in some books when they put that trigger warning on there." And then as I was reading this, I was like, she's not saying yes instantly, but
No.
she's not saying no, and she's been
Right.
attracted to him this whole time. So I appreciate the warning, but I've seen it much worse in other books, and I was like gearing up for that. And so when I
Mm-hmm.
got to this, I was like, "Oh, this is fine. This is good."
So for our listeners that may not know what DubCon is, can you
Okay.
tell us what it is?
Dubious consent.
Yes.
So that's when somebody, in this instance, our dragon hero is teasing our heroine, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "You want me?" And she's like, I'm
Mm,
not sure I do. I don't think
mm-hmm.
so." And he's like, "I'm gonna tie you up to this bed and start kissing on you and make you say yes."
Yeah.
And we're in her point of view. We see from her head that she is turned on. She
Mm-hmm.
is internally debating, and she ultimately decides, "Yes, I do want this," and says yes.
Yeah, so I think the sentence actually says you've convinced yourself you have to say no to this.
Yes. Which is kind of
Yeah.
true because he's a demon, and for the first half of the book, she's like, "Oh my god, how can I be this attracted to a demon?" Demons are
Mhm.
supposed to be these evil, brainless, god-awful things that
Right.
kill anything in their path.
Yeah. And now she's like eyeballing him in
Yeah,
the
now she's like,
water. She
his
like,
shirt is burning off, and he's really pretty, and we're both naked in the river together,
I
and he's
know. She's
really
like,
pretty."
yeah, she's definitely down, but I think, that's why I think it gets a pass
Mhm.
because we were in her head. We were in her
Yes.
head and we could see that it wasn't really, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
It wasn't
it
that.
was never a no. It
Yeah.
was, maybe not, but I am interested. And
Yeah.
then yeah.
She was definitely, I think, kind of exploring. And the thing about her is, y'all know how much I hate a virgin,
Mhm,
and she wasn't. She had a
mhm,
boyfriend, but I think that she really didn't know what she liked because it seemed like the more he was trying to being like dominant in the bedroom, like the
mhm.
more she would respond to it, and it seemed like it was kind of foreign to her a little
Yes.
bit. So
So she's
maybe,
like 19, 20.
yeah.
She talked about having the one boyfriend, and then after they broke up, she never really hooked up with anybody since. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, as our Fallon guy is like being more dominant and aggressive, she's like, "Ooh, I've never tried this before and I like it. I
Hmm.
want this.
Hmm.
I really this is really turning me on."
Yeah.
So
He
yeah.
al he does almost cross the line though. So at the end of the book, but she works him, like, have you heard that phrase where, like, if the man is the head, quote unquote, the woman is the neck?
Yes. I
I've
I
heard,
learned that in my big fat Greek wedding.
yeah, so that's where I must have heard it from, but it's true. That's how Cinnamon
Mhm.
played him. No,
Yeah.
that's how she treated him at the end, when after she is hurt and like he brings her to the island and
Mhm.
knocks her out. She's
Mhm.
unconscious for days. And he's like using magic to make them this the most spectacular house. She wakes up and she like, hold on, what is happening? What happened? And he is like really beating around the bush, and she's like, "Wait a minute, you don't want me to leave this island, do you?" And he actually admits it, and she's like, "Okay, well, can't we just use some magic and do something else?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't think of that. I just thought I had to keep you isolated
'Cause
away from
he's a
everyone."
man, and men
Yeah.
are like, "Oh my god, I have to protect you, keep you hidden away in the
Yeah.
tower." Not like, "Oh yeah, I can give you, like, a protective shield."
I mean, you can make all of this stuff. Can't you
Mhm.
just make me something?
"Make me a shield, dude!
Yeah.
Make me a shield."
He's like, "Oh, I guess I
I
could."
guess
Oh my
so.
god.
Duh.
But see, that's cinnamon thinking, because like most women have been like, "You're not gonna keep me on this island.
Mhm.
Ah, I'm out."
Mhm.
But instead, she's like, "Let me just work with him
Yes.
here."
She's like, "Hold on, honey.
Yeah,
We need to have a conversation here. I'm not gonna
yeah,
stay in a very pretty cage. I don't care how pretty it is, I don't care how pretty you are. I'm
yeah,
not staying in a cage." And I love
yeah,
that about her
yeah.
because
She's like, "Let's work something out because this is not it." And he's
yes.
like, "Okay." I think he knew he was never going to get his way.
Oh,
So
definitely. That's why he
yeah,
kept her asleep for, like, 4 days.
yeah. I'm like, who does that? Like she's just sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh my
No.
god. That
No.
was very rude.
That
You
was
don't.
rude. That was the probably the worst thing he did in the book, for me, at least.
Mhm.
I don't care when he killed people, I don't care when he ate people.
Mhm.
Keeping her asleep for 4 days? No. No,
Yeah,
sir.
just
I do not
because
like.
he, yeah, do not like, yeah, I think that was the worst, but, he seemed to be better after that, and of course,
Yes.
skipping to the end, she had no problem spending several months there with him so he could figure out the
Mhm.
spell, and they could have a good time together
Well,
for
yeah,
months.
like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind spending a few months on a honeymoon island,
Mhm.
having lots of
Mhm.
hot sex, like, yeah, sounds great, as long as I know I can leave eventually.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that's forever, no, I don't wanna stay here forever, but 2,
Yeah, I
3
mean, she had
months?
to go back to her family, like, they were wondering
Yeah.
what happened to her,
Oh,
like,
hell
you can't
yeah.
just never come back.
She loves her family so much. Her family is everything to her.
Yeah.
So,
And I think he knows that,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes back with her, and the family just kind of, he's like, oh, and yeah, we killed them and we defeated them, and yeah, we got married. And what?
You're
Excuse
married?
me? What happened now? Yeah, no big deal. We got married.
I will say, I love how at the very beginning of the story, the night she meets him, she saves him, he chases her a bit, she ends up at home, and then he leaves. But
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't realize he's gone, so she like barricades the door, tells her
Mm-hmm.
parents there's a demon out there chasing her, and everybody just kind of brushed her off as crazy. Her
Mm-hmm.
brothers show up the next day. They're like, yeah, we heard you had a crazy dream, you crazy little girl. And they're teasing her until he shows up in the fucking window. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, hello, it's me.
He's
I'm
like,
the demon.
hey,
I'm here.
I'm back.
And it was just such a casual, like, hello, I'm here. And her whole
Yeah.
family's like, oh, what? And then she leaves with him.
Okay. And so there it is with the comedy, right? I
Mhm.
think that part, that stuff is the comedy.
Oh, yeah.
And I am not the biggest fan of comedy, but it worked
Mhm.
here. And again, I didn't mind it, but I think the author did a good job of balancing the comedy because it wasn't like nonstop,
Mhm.
which was good. We had some important stuff in there, like, when Cinnamon thinks she sees her sister
Ooh, yes.
in the water in the swamp or whatever, and she goes out there and oh my god.
That was really dark and emotional
Yeah.
and twisted and yep.
Yeah, Fallon's like, "That's not your sister. Come this way. Come this
Come on,
way."
we gotta save you. And she's like, but my
Yeah.
sister, but Cherry.
Yeah. You're like, look again.
Yeah,
That
look
is not her.
behind her. Do you
Yeah.
see the dog?
Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, there was funny stuff, there was more serious stuff, there
Mhm.
was sexy stuff, and it was pretty balanced,
Oh, yeah.
which made it be a fast read for me.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a fast read overall because it was
Mhm.
just over 200 pages, a little more than that. I don't remember what you said, but like it was fast, it was funny, it was sexy, it had pretty much everything.
Mhm. Yeah, and actually this wasn't, I think I said 279 on Kindle. Yep, 279.
It felt shorter than that to me,
It did feel
but
short, but it definitely was that long because I know I did pick up the Kindle version,
mhm,
and then I have Spotify Premium, so you get like so many hours of audiobook time.
mhm.
So I was like, let me see if this is on Spotify because I'm not paying for this audiobook. It's so short.
Yeah.
And it was on there.
Oh,
So I'm like,
good.
okay, I'll listen at a fast speed. And the narrator was good.
Yay!
But I did like reading it
Uh-huh.
too. But yeah, I mean, it's available and the audiobook was good. So if you're a strictly book listener, then I definitely recommend it there too.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Just be careful with listening to audiobooks when the sexy time comes because shit gets loud.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
don't be in public, or if you're in public, use headphones.
Make sure those Bluetooth stay connected because nothing like something dropping and you're hearing her
Yeah.
making all that
Oh
noise.
god.
What a mess. You'd be like, oh my God, what is that? I don't know. I don't know what happened on my phone. That's what you'd be doing. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be like,
Mhm.
I don't know what that is. But yeah, I was safe not to do that. I'm like, oh, here we go. Let me just press pause on this and switch to the book
Switch to the book.
because
Read the sex scenes.
I don't want any mess ups, no screw ups.
No.
So that's my advice.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice for all romance books, all steamy, smutty, all of those audiobooks.
Yeah. Okay, I think now is a great time to take a quick break. You guys, by listening to these commercials, you are supporting the podcast. And also, don't forget to check out the book review journal available right now on Amazon. We will be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So, Casey, I have a question for you.
Okay, hit me.
I know that you like very spicy books. You like it very spicy.
Yes.
How did the sex scenes do for you?
They were hot. It wasn't the hottest I've ever read, but they were pretty hot. I was actually a little surprised because one of the original covers was very cartoony. And I thought it was going to be sweeter. But then reading the trigger warnings, I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be darker. And then it ended up like in the middle of that for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these were good, spicy scenes. They were interesting. There was different dynamics going on. Yes, he was dominating her, but she wasn't like just straight up submitting. She was telling him what the fuck she wanted. And he was like, okay, I'm going to do what you're telling me to do. Yeah. She's like, good, you better. I want this.
That's why I think I like them so much because, like I said earlier, it was just enough. It was like, okay, this is okay. It was great, but it wasn't like, oh, this is too far. This is too much. It's too much. Okay, because Lord knows I like some spice, but not as much as you, Casey. Not as much as you.
Yes, I know that.
I'd be like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Pump the brakes. This is way too far. But this was actually just really, it was like the perfect middle ground for me. So I liked it a lot.
I loved all of her friends teasing her about the sex too.
Oh my gosh, like the time they're out there and like doing it and their friends are trying to find them on the island. And they come and they're like, oh,
nope. They're getting it on.
They're busy. We should come back later. It's hilarious. The hilarity. I could actually visualize that in my mind.
Yes. Like, I was laughing at that point, like laughing out loud. Just like, yes, of course your friend is going to show up right at that exact moment and then turn around and yell to your entire ship full of demons. They're getting it on. They're finally. Getting it on.
Yeah. They're getting it on. Woohoo. We'll come back. We'll take your time, guys. Finish up. She's like, wow, that was a huge, like, what do you call it? Bucket of cold water. So, and he's like, oh, we can continue. She like, nah, bro.
No, we're not doing anything. We're done. Cheering demons in the background. Which is fair.
Finished. But you know what? I'm going back to, you mentioned the cover art. And I did just look at the older cover art. And I see what you mean. So the original cover art, he's like holding her in a field of flowers. With mountains in the background and a blue sky with clouds and a pink title.
Yep. The very first cover was so cutesy.
Yeah.
And I was like
The Sound of Music or something. Like, what is happening? Yeah, very
that
not
does
a good
give
representation.
The kind of cutesy, funny vibes. It does. I like the current cover better because it gives me more of that spicy. But you know, the humor that we just talked about, I can see that with that first cover.
I don't even see the humor in the first cover. I see it in the second cover because she's holding like a jug of ale that's like kind of tipping over.
Yeah,
I love the colors more. It's so much more gripping.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, he's kind of got the Fabio thing a little bit going on.
He's got her chin. He's holding her chin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, the new one is sexy.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that gives you a better idea of what you're in for. The other one, honestly, if I saw this first cover, I'd have been like, I don't know if I want to read this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think
that's why I put it
off.
That's exactly why I put it off. I knew I was hearing good things about it, but with that cover, I was like, no. But I'm really glad it got the cover update, and I'm really glad we read this because, yeah, this is a great book. Probably my favorite book in 2024 so far. I know we're only 1 month in. Well,
Mm-hmm.
1 month and like a few days, but like I think it's my favorite book of 2024 so far.
Oh, wow. That says a lot.
Mhm.
Wow. But yeah, this speaks to me like about how important the cover art is. I think we
Oh,
talked about that
definitely.
before, but you
Yes.
can really just mess up your sales if you have bad cover
Mhm.
art.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You know what somebody said, now I don't know much about cinnamon as a spice. It's a bark, right?
Mhm.
So wouldn't they have in their forest a forest instead of like a field?
So the way I imagined it, and I think we should probably try Googling this, but I imagined like trees in a field, not very tall trees, but
Okay, I'm gonna try to Google it right now.
yeah,
Cinnamon field and see what happens. So it looks like cinnamon fields. This is not very good. They look like a bunch of different things. So some of
yeah,
them look more like a bunch of trees like a forest. Some of them look like rows of trees like in an apple orchard, but it's just, obviously
yeah.
no apples. Um
Um,
Definitely I don't know. I don't want to nitpick the field, but when I hear like, their farm
okay,
or whatever,
go search cinnamon tree farm. Well, now I have
let's take a
Christmas
look.
trees, but there's a few pictures on Google here with cinnamon tree farms,
Mhm.
and that looks a bit like how I was imagining it. And then Google is weird because now half of this is just Christmas trees. And I'm like, that's not
Hold
at
on, let's
all
see
what
if I
I
can.
wanted.
Okay, so for those of you not on Patreon, sorry, you can't see what I'm showing.
Yeah.
But it looks like, see, that one looks
Yeah,
more
that
like a
one.
bunch of trees. That looks like, see, I guess I just imagined something else the way the author described, like kind of had the farm.
Mhm.
I just thought it was something else, but yeah,
Yeah,
whatever. It's fine.
it's
But
fine.
I don't want to nitpick it to death, but I was like, is that right? that is it a farm or is it like a forest? What is it? Like what does it look like? So, um but yeah, it's acceptable. I'll let it go. Mm. uh, okay, so just to highlight someone
Mhm.
else's issue. So I was looking at reviews
Yes.
and someone did not like the modern language with the fantasy setting. What did you think about the modern style of
Um,
talking?
I loved it. I
Mhm.
think fantasy has gotten more modern progressively
Mhm.
since Tolkien. Like, in the
Mhm.
'80s, the fantasy back then, they were using '80s slang. It wasn't
Mhm.
all high British, hoity-toity, I have to be like Tolkien. Um, Same in the '90s, the 2000s. It's every decade, it gets more and more modern and
Mhm.
less like everybody has to sound like the British monarchy. And I like that. I love that.
I didn't mind it at all. She did have a couple of times she used slang like sus and other
Mhm.
things that definitely you have to be around today
Oh,
to
yes.
know what that means.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't mind it, although then after reading that comment, it did make me wonder, well, when is this? When is this?
I don't think they gave a specific year, and I don't mind. I think it
Yeah,
was just more of like a, you
because it
know
felt old, right? It felt like,
well,
you
her
got
farm family town out in the middle of the boondocks was definitely supposed to be, like, old school, we don't have bathtubs or running water, because she
right.
was so shocked by the bathtub working and, like, giving hot water immediately.
Mhm.
And so I appreciated that just for the sake of like showing how the different towns have different technology.
Mhm.
Like the Boondocks, yes, we're going to be living out here on our farms and carrying our water up from the river. But the rich people in the big bustling city, they definitely have working toilets and bathtubs and showers.
I know, but I still didn't imagine our standard of a bathroom.
Oh no, it was
So,
definitely more fantasy.
yeah. But I didn't mind the language either, especially because Simmons black. Her people are black. And yeah, they would use some slang and it seemed totally normal to me to read it. It didn't pull me out
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
same.
I kind of guess if you're like kind of snobby about your romance, it might bother you.
I think snobby about
Oh, about
fantasy.
fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're snobby about fantasy, yeah, that'll
fantasy
probably
romance.
bother you. But
Mhm.
honestly, like, in today's day and age, what fantasy books are you reading that doesn't use slang?
Mhm. Like even Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing uses slang,
Yeah,
Serpent and Dove uses slang.
they
I don't
do.
read Jennifer Armentrout, but I'm sure she uses
Oh, she
slang.
definitely does.
Um, any other YA fantasy, romantic fantasy, like, all of that is gonna use slang. Maybe
Uh-huh.
if you read high fantasy, it doesn't, but I'm not sure because I don't really read that genre. Um,
Yeah.
I everybody does it,
Yeah. So
and
it
if
didn't
you're
bother
that
me.
nitpicky, you're probably not
You're
happy
not
with
reading this
any of
anyway.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not reading this anyway because you're not going to want to read. Because
Mm-mm.
those people that are diehards like that, they don't like romance in their
Oh, not at
fantasy.
all. Not at all.
Yeah,
They would
they
read
don't
this
like it.
title and get so upset. Like, the next one has the word yeeted in it. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's gonna tell you all you need to know.
I have to say, I'm surprised you didn't bring up one huge thing.
Uh-oh.
When I started reading this book, I'm like, Casey would love Cinnamon. She would
Yes.
love her
Yes.
because this woman just wants cheese.
Yes. I read the first page and I was like, this is my soulmate. She is
Yeah.
me. I am this woman. This is my story. I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, she just loves her some cheese, and her best friend makes cheese.
Mhm. Brie
Yeah,
makes
Brie
cheese.
makes cheese.
I love
Hilarious.
that.
So your mother, okay, so I guess that's a thing around there. Brie makes cheese.
Mhm.
Cinnamon has
The
cinnamon,
cinnamon farm.
and of course, she is. Cinnamon is the cure to bringing the demons out of the fog.
Yep.
So yeah, I just thought that was funny. I'm like, oh my god, all the cheese.
All the cheese. And in the middle of the story when she gets blackout drunk on her ship and makes
Hmm.
everybody call her the queen cheese.
Yeah,
And just, like, wakes up in bed with mounds of
cheese.
cheese around her. I was like, "Yes.
She's
That's
like,
me when I get
"What
that drunk."
happened?" She's like, "What happened? That didn't I know that didn't happen." He like, "Yes, it
Yes, it
did."
did.
Yes, it absolutely did. And I guess I have to say, like, if I were to tell someone or recommend this to someone, I would totally give it with the caveat that this is fun and lighthearted. And if you're looking for a couple of chuckles with a little
Yes.
bit of spice, then yes. If you're
Yes.
looking for something more serious, then just skip it. This isn't it. That's
Yeah.
not it.
If you want dark and serious, don't
Yeah.
do it. This has moments of dark and serious, but that's not the overall tone.
No, it's fleeting. It doesn't really like that experience with, Cinnamon and her sister. Like
Mhm.
it lingered a little. It wasn't like this big thing hanging over her for the whole rest of the book.
Mm-mm.
So it kind of is like, yeah, these things happen, but we move
But
forward,
we move
kind of.
on. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
trauma, but we get past it, which is good.
Yeah. So I did get some Targaryen vibes in here as well with Fallon. Do you know Game of Thrones?
I never read it.
Okay, so the Targaryens ride the dragons. And the end of Game of Thrones, what was her name? Oh my god, I can't remember her name right now. Anyway, she burned the whole place to the ground. She burned the thing. They like, this
Mhm.
woman is fucking crazy,
Uh-huh.
crazy, mad queen. She crazy. So I'm like, okay, here go Fallon just burning shit up.
Burning it up.
Like, just let it. And that isn't really hero behavior exactly because there are other people there that you are
Mhm.
killing.
He's villain adjacent, is how
Yeah.
she described him.
Yeah, villain adjacent. And, everyone is running and she's going toward the dragon. Oh
Well,
my
okay,
god.
right before that, Felix, the
Yeah.
werewolf she saved, was like, "You should go bat your eyelashes at him to make
Yes.
him stop."
Yeah.
And so
Like,
she
please.
does.
Yeah, she does. And he does stop. And
Mhm.
after he burned nearly the whole dang on town to the ground. So,
Yeah. But they were slavers and they kinda deserved it. So
but the children and the
were there
puppies,
children?
I don't know. We don't know. I mean, I gotta just assume it's a town, right?
I guess.
We can just pretend it was only the
It
slavers
was
that
only
got
the
burnt.
slavers that died.
But when a huge dragon comes through blowing fire on everything, everything is toast
Yes.
and everybody.
And everybody. Everything and
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, so I'm like, "Oh, this is feeling Targaryen right now with take it all. He don't care. He don't give a fuck. He like, whatever.
That
They
was one of the
deserve
other
it."
things I really appreciated about this book, was
Mhm.
that there were social themes and people changing their entire outlook on the world just because it was the right thing to do and thought they hadn't thought about it in that way.
Yeah.
So, yes, in this busy town, everybody thinks that demons are basically pets.
Yeah.
They're human looking, but they don't have any sort of intelligence. They can't speak.
Mhm.
And when Fallon comes in and starts talking and has intelligence and says, "Yeah, all demons are really smart," the woman Usha goes, "Oh shit. Okay,
She's
well,
like, "You're
let's change it."
talking."
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking. Why are you talking? He's like, "Everybody can talk." And she's like, "Well, I didn't realize we were slavers, but now let's go kick some ass and save all of these people."
I mean, she changed her mind pretty quickly, and I think almost in a way that was kind of unbelievable, but I guess fine, right? We want
Mhm.
people on the team, and she seemed like a good person.
Mhm.
And when she realized that the stuff was wrong, she like did an about face very quickly. But I guess if we wanted to put that in a different setting, I don't think people just change like that
They
quickly.
don't change that quickly, and again, that's why I wanted this book to be, like, another 100 pages,
Mm,
possibly,
mhm.
um, but for the short story to be like, "Yes, they're falling in love instantly. He took one look at her and fell in love with her." This woman
Mhm.
looked at demons and said, "Oh, you're not pets. Let's save you. Let me burn down my entire city to save demons now." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, things have to be sped up for a short story, but I appreciated that, and I really like that maybe somebody who read this will now take that thought and be like, "Oh, what am I walking past every single day and not thinking twice about that's actually, like, really problematic?"
Oh, that's so kind. Look at you with those
I
rose-colored
I
glasses on.
try to hope
That
for the
is
best
so
in the world,
nice.
but
Mm-mm.
I try.
The bigots will read this book and think it's fun and just carry on.
I yes. Or give it a 1 star or skip over it entirely. I know. I know. I'm trying to have hope for this world. Give me a
Okay.
break.
Okay. I'll take that. I will take that. You can have hope.
I'm trying. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of hope in this world.
No. And I mean, actually, at the end of the book, we kind of get example of someone who's really hard-headed. Her ex-boyfriend,
Mhm, mhm.
she keeps trying to tell him, like, look, this is not it. That's not it, dude. You can change sides now. We won't have to hurt you. He's like, "What? I know what I'm doing. I'm smarter than
I'm
everybody."
so smart. You're my sweetheart. Yes, we broke up years ago, but you're still my woman, even though you just said you're married. Like,
Yeah, like,
what?
what a creep.
No.
Like, you don't want her husband to hear you say that, sir. You
Even
really
though
don't.
he's right there breathing fire on you.
Yes. He's stupid. He's so
He's so stupid. So
stupid.
stupid.
Like, you trying to die
He
today.
he
You
wants
trying
to
to die.
die. He just lost an arm and didn't
Yeah.
die, but he was trying to die.
Yeah. He was trying wholeheartedly. He was
Mhm,
going for the gusto
mhm.
with the
Oh, yes.
he went to meet his maker that day. He was out there acting wild. Like, even the other girl was like, "Wait, wait, wait a minute."
"What are you doing? Why are you
Yeah,
doing this?"
yeah.
Yeah.
What What a mess.
God.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's actually a lot of stuff packed into 279
Oh,
pages.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so worth it and so good. And I would definitely recommend this book to my friends.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of felt this about this book that I did about that book that we read last year for Halloween. What was it called?
The
Can't think
shoot,
right now. It was called
Stabby Boys, but it's not that's not the real title, but that's what it
No,
was.
not that one. The one where I kept reading the series. It was the guy who was a demon or whatever.
Cat Blackthorn.
Hold on one second. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds to look
Yes.
at my Goodreads. That's all I need. 1, 2. Okay, time's up. No, I don't have it. Okay. Here it is. Ghost. Yes, Ghost
yes.
by Cat Blackthorn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I thought now that was extraordinarily more sex.
Oh, that was hot.
And I still liked it. So I guess I don't have the limits that I may have thought I had, because even though some of that shit was wild, I was still like, okay.
They fucked in a graveyard. Like,
yeah, that was wild.
That's yeah.
But I liked that so much that I'm like, oh, let me just keep reading. And that's the same situation I find myself in here. Like, I'm like, I just want to keep I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens with all the gang, who ends up with who, what's the werewolf sex like versus the dragon sex. Like, what's going on? I want to know all the things. So I'm going to keep reading.
Same. Yeah. No, I want to keep reading. I want to keep laughing and enjoying this series. I'm here for it.
You want to go ahead and rate it?
Why not? Let's do it.
Okay, I'll let you go first if you want.
I'm giving it 5 stars. Ooh. I enjoyed it. It was cute. It was funny. It was sexy. It hit all the right notes. Yes, I wish it was longer to develop more stuff, but I think it was meant to be a short story, so I'm just going to accept it as a short story. And yeah, as of February, this is my favorite book in 2024. So come back in December and we'll see if it still is.
That's fair. I rated it 4. And 4 out of 5. I liked it a lot. I'm going to keep reading. And I just really think it's just fun. And actually, I think it's a really good palate cleanser. If you've been reading a lot of heavy, like I've been reading a lot of heavy thrillers, like serial killers and murders and horrible things. So I felt like, this was something not popcorn and bubblicious and just a good time. And it really just kind of broke up the monotony before I jump back into the dark stuff. So definitely, if you're into palate cleansers and you read a lot of dark stuff, this would be something fun.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, I think we are done for today.
I think we're done.
Yay!
I'm so glad you liked it.
Me too. I'm like, oh my God, please God, let me like a book that Casey recommends. What is happening? Oh no, like I swear it was a rough start.
It was a rough start this year. I'm so sorry, but I am glad. I'm glad we turned it around for February.
Yeah, we turned it around. So yeah, you guys pick up this title for Valentine's Day or February book of whatever you feel like. If you're a mood reader, this is it for February.
Absolutely.
All right, we are going to end things there. It has been a really fun conversation. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.